We are weeks away from people having the Steam Deck in their hands, and I think now is a good time to celebrate as we bring the hype train to its final destination. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I'm personally excited about the Steam Deck and why I think it might change gaming forever. Let's get into it. What's good, Deck Gang? There's so much I want to say about the Steam Deck, and I know I'm not going to fit it all into this video, but right at the top, let me say that I think the Steam Deck is potentially a real game changer. I know that some people think I sound ridiculous when I say that, but that's okay. I took a major gamble on the Steam Deck. I made a whole YouTube channel focused almost entirely on this one product because that's how much I believe in it. This level of hype obviously makes me anxious for the arrival of the Steam Deck. I genuinely can't wait, and making videos is one of the few ways I can pass the time until it launches. Some of you have told me that my videos help you with your hype too. That's why today I'm going to both help and hurt us. I'm going to count down 5 reasons that I'm not just excited about the Steam Deck, but reasons that I believe the Steam Deck may just change gaming. Number 5. Repairability and support. One downside to my existing handheld gaming PC is the support and to a certain extent the repairability. The keyboard on my GPD Win Max recently broke, and when I contacted support, I got back a very casual email that I'd have to buy a keyboard replacement, but they don't have any in stock. So I was told to email back in 15 days. And when I asked about a guide for replacing the keyboard, I was told that I could find a video on YouTube. Mind you, I wasn't given a link to a video on YouTube. No, I was just told that I could find a video. I found this all fairly unprofessional. The handheld gaming PC community deals with it because we know that these are all very small companies and there's only so much that they can do, I suppose. But despite my concerns with Steam support, Valve has already painted a picture that is head and shoulders above this experience. They already have a dedicated support portal, and I've heard pretty good things about support for their VR device, the Index. They've also talked about being able to shop for parts, so I wouldn't have to email support continuously until the part is available. Furthermore, they've suggested leaving repairs to the professionals, which I've taken to mean they are going to provide repair options that don't involve finding a YouTube video and repairing it on my own. Finally, given the fact that they've already done a teardown video months ahead of launch, I wouldn't be surprised if they do create and publish repair videos that you can use for reference. The fact that a big company like Valve, who is flush with cash, is entering this market and putting their full effort behind this means that I have a lot to hope for. This is a sector that has only ever been occupied by small players, and I look forward to what a big company can bring to the table. That said, I already know what I bring to the table, and that's awesome Steam Deck videos. If you agree, then just caress the like button gently, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and slap the bell so you don't miss another Steam Deck video. Number 4. Linux. Look, I'm a Windows baby. It's the only flavor of PC operating system that I've ever daily driven, but I love the potential that the Steam Deck has when it comes to decoupling PC gaming from the stranglehold that Windows has had on it. For one, there's the price savings associated with dropping Windows. There is a cost associated with licensing Windows on the laptop or the PC that you purchase. That's part of the reason that Steam Deck is able to have a price that no other hardware manufacturer could have competed with. Going with an operating system that's based on Linux means the cost can be lowered and the savings can be passed on to the consumer. A second benefit is freedom of choice. Outside of gaming, Linux has been a viable option for me for years. Even at my day job, I could do everything I need as a software developer and IT professional on Linux. I could even support users that use Windows, and I can program .NET software on Linux. The only thing I couldn't do was play my full PC gaming library. The advancements on Proton in the last 3 years and the advancements yet to come are making that dream a reality. Very recently, we reached the milestone of 80% of Steam's top 100 games being playable on Linux as per ProtonDB. That's a huge milestone that I would have thought impossible just a few years ago. This all gives a greater degree of freedom for any given gamer to choose to use Linux if they so please. And the third potential benefit from this endeavor is added support from other companies, whether that's manufacturers of hardware or game developers or even middleware developers like EasyAnyCheat or Unreal Engine. The more the Steam Deck sells, the more Linux users there will be. And the more Linux users there are, the more reason for companies to support Linux. That is a very exciting prospect to me, as again, I really appreciate that level of freedom. To me, all of this makes it more possible to make a gaming-focused operating system that's as intuitive as a console, but without losing the flexibility of a PC. That's what SteamOS is aiming for, and if they're successful, there's no doubt that others will attempt the same thing. Number 3. It's a console. Now, at least hear me out before you scold me in the comments. In fact, Gardner said it first, so maybe just scold him. But no, really, it's true. Steam Deck is a PC, but it's also a console. And I love this. I love that it's both. While this first wave of sales seems targeted at the Steam faithful, I think that in the long run, Valve is targeting people that have traditionally steered clear of PC gaming. They want the Steam Deck to be many people's first gaming PC. And anecdotally speaking, it's working. Look at this. 13% of my viewers say that this will be their first gaming PC. And here's some point-by-point proof that Steam Deck is a console. First and most important, they're selling the hardware at a loss or close to it, with the expectation that they'll make that money back from the 30% cut of software sales. This is a huge investment, and they're not just going to make that money back from people that already have hundreds of thousands of games on Steam. They're going to make it from new customers who will eventually buy hundreds of games of their own. Second is the Deck Verified program. This is a certification program that is not quite as rigorous as that of consoles, but much more rigorous than anything on PC today. In addition to asking that game developers make their game run in a performant manner on Steam Deck hardware, they are also asking that developers support SteamOS by supporting Linux, that they implement proper gamepad controls including proper controller glyphs, and that the text be legible on the Steam Deck screen. They're going further than that still by asking that users don't need to manually invoke an on-screen keyboard to enter text. This is a PC, but the Deck Verified program takes that PC experience and makes it more palatable to someone that's used to their games just working. And the last bit of evidence that I have that it's a console is that this is a single target hardware at a console price. PC hardware like this has never been this affordable, and that's a major feather in Valve's cap. Furthermore, developers know exactly how much RAM to target, what resolution to support, which power profiles are available, and then they can provide graphical presets based on that information. You'll have access to the PC experience, but you'll also be presented with a more consoleized experience. And I'm actually thrilled about that. Sometimes I just want convenience. Moreover, I'm excited about more people being introduced to the greatness that is PC gaming. Number 2, controls. I have a Steam controller, and it's certainly not perfect, but I find it hard to play shooters without it. The combination of trackpads, gyros, and paddles make for better accuracy than a traditional control pad without needing a full keyboard and mouse setup. This is one of the only things lacking from my current handheld gaming PC. The GPD WinMax has traditional controls, which are mostly great, but make it difficult to play a PC-oriented shooter like Dusk or worse, Ultrakill. The touchscreen is also going to be a nice addition for DS emulation and touch-friendly games like Slay the Spire. The input remapping is also head and shoulders above most things out there. The interface for remapping is mostly intuitive and there's options for everything. For example, you can configure 2 button presses to 1 trigger so that you can press that 1 trigger to either hip fire or aim down sights and then fire, depending on how you press it. You can create a custom radial menu and bind it to a trackpad. Or you can create a profile that will make advanced tactics like tap strafing and Apex Legends a bit easier. You can even use the Steam controller for system behaviors. Like by default, Steam is set up so that certain buttons combined with the guide button will turn the volume up or down or skip to the next track or alt-tab to another window. Together, these options open up an abundance of gaming possibilities and make it so that even games that are not verified might still be playable on a big screen. Classic PC RPGs, for example, usually have plenty of community profiles that make it easy to play them with a control pad despite not being designed for that use case. I think it's going to be hard for people to go back to traditional controls after playing the Steam Deck. That's why this is my number 2, and that brings us to the top reason I think Steam Deck will change gaming. Number 1, the library. If the Steam Deck is in fact a console, it will have the largest launch library of any console. Steam Deck alone has over 50,000 games, but then you add up emulation, homebrew games, alternative games, browser games, game jam games, and the library may as well be infinite. It's certainly more games than you could ever play in a lifetime. And the thing that I've always loved about PC gaming is the forward compatibility. Up until recently, if I wanted to play a console game from a generation or two back, I'd still have to own that console. So if I bought but didn't finish Last of Us on PS3, and then I sold my PS3 to buy a PS4, I'd be out of luck. I'd also have to trade in my PS3 copy of Last of Us so that I can buy the PS4 version instead. This still happens all the time on Switch, where they're selling games from the Wii U for full price. Even worse, you have to pay a subscription to access their older games, some of which you may have bought on the original hardware, and maybe bought again on one of their virtual console offerings. This problem doesn't exist on PC or therefore the Steam Deck. I like to say that almost every game that comes out anywhere will eventually be playable on PC, but percentage-wise, most games that are available on PC are not available on any given console. And then going back to the Steam library itself, I can't think of any service or hardware that has as many useful features as Steam itself has. Whether it's Steam Input, Remote Play Together, Steam Workshop, or the newly introduced dynamic cloud saves, nothing is as feature-rich as Steam. That makes the excellent library even that much more valuable. As much as I will defend things like Epic exclusives, I have virtually run out of reasons to use anything other than Steam. I'm concerned about the practical implications of that, but the value proposition is really difficult to deny. So that's my list, guys. From a gaming perspective, I'm excited about everything from indie to retro to AAA. From a tech perspective, I'm thrilled about what this means for Linux and APU advancements. And the library, level of support, control, and price all contribute to a PC console hybrid that may just be the best of both worlds. But that's just what I think. What fuels your hype for the Steam Deck? Also, the Steam Deck has caused this convergence of communities that is really cool to see. I've seen arguments in my comments about everything from Deck Verified to installing Windows to who is actually going to buy this thing. And the reason everyone is having this argument is because the appeal of the Steam Deck is so broad. Console lovers, Windows gamers, the Linux gaming community, the home theater PC and small form factor community, the handheld PC gaming crowd, and even the Steam controller and Steam Input evangelists. We're all here for this momentous occasion. And by the way, if you like the work I'm doing, please consider being a patron. I love making Steam Deck videos, and if you enjoy the videos I make, you can help support my channel by heading over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/fanthedeck. But that's going to do it for today, folks. Until next time, Deck Gang out. Goodbye.